Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I've got to go fill the fresh tank because we've got to leave Arizona. So I'm gonna get that going. Gotta make sure the truck's all prepped up. So we're in Arizona, and we ran into a problem. South Dakota just, I hate to use the word screwed, but y'all are going to want to stick around and hear this, because if you work full-time and you're domiciled in South Dakota, you're going to want to change it pretty freaking quick. Alright, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time. I'm going to get right into this. We're hooked up and we're headed to Texas. So for y'all that don't know, for a while now, South Dakota has been struggling, and I don't know exactly who it is, if it's politicians or I assume it is, but they've been struggling with allowing the RV community to maintain their voting rights, specifically in Box Elder, because that's where all of us are registered at. It's where Escapees is at. That's where America's Mailbox is at. That's where there's another one there. I don't know what the name of it is. But they've been arguing that the people in the RV community are skewing the election results, and the people living in that community are having to deal with the outside influence of people that don't live there. So they put forth two bills to basically stop the voting rights of RVers or curtail them. They both failed. What a lot of people don't know is that there was a third bill that put through that did make it through, that modified what the residency requirements are. So now you have to live in the state, if I'm not mistaken, for 30 days. Now that on itself, not a big deal. Where the problem comes in, it also modified their codified code, which is 61-1-3, which defines what an employee is. Then it modified 61-1-26, which defines what an employer is. And then it modified 61-1-27, and that defines how those two entities, the employer and employee, interact within the state. Now, the big thing is that last section. If you work remotely and you're an RVer and you don't actually live full-time in the state of South Dakota, that last 61-1-27 is what the Department of Labor is using to claim that the tax status of your residency is no longer valid. The reason for that, and I'm not going to get into the legal mumbo jumbo of the ruling or of the codified law, but it states that a person living within the state of South Dakota, if they're working for a company that is without South Dakota, meaning outside of South Dakota, and does not have a physical presence, then there's no way for that company to pay into the unemployment for said employee. So what's happened is, knowing that all of us that are RVs, that are domiciled with the address of Box Elder, have a private mailbox address in Box Elder. I don't remember exactly what the address is, but what they've done is they've started sending out letters to people saying, hey, your tax status is no longer valid. You need to get with your company and you need to start paying unemployment tax in the state that your company is registered. Now, the problem with that is you can't just pay unemployment into that state. You also have to, the company can't split to just pay the unemployment taxes in that state and not pay the state income tax. So what's happening is now, if you're domiciled in South Dakota, you work full-time remotely, and you have an address in Box Elder, you now have to pay state income tax to the state that your company is registered in if it's not in South Dakota. If you don't meet that criteria, this doesn't affect you. It affected us big time. All right, so how did I find out about this? I'm actively on Reddit, and I try and answer a lot of RV questions, but I had this guy pose a question and send me a copy of the letter that he received from the Department of Labor of South Dakota, claiming that he was being forced basically out of the state, which is true, because if you remove the tax haven, then there's no need to be in South Dakota. So I told him I thought that was ridiculous, that, you know, it had to be that his company just wouldn't set the accounts up. Well, unbeknownst to me, the company I work for since September of 22 has been trying to set up those same accounts. We were notified, I guess Monday, that they weren't able to do that, and I was going to have to start paying income tax in Virginia. All right, so what have we done? So I reached out to Kurt Caffey, who's the senator assigned to Box Elder. I spoke with him. He's checking with the Department of Labor to see what's going on. I also opened up a formal case with the governor's office. They have taken that case and sent it to the on-staff policy expert within the governor's office. As of today, which is, I think, Tuesday, we have not heard anything back, but I wasn't supposed to hear anything for a couple days. So what does this mean for us and, you know, our domicile in South Dakota? Well, we're not staying in South Dakota. We're actually on our way to Texas to register the truck and everything in Texas. So I reached out to our accountant, and essentially Maria and I will have to file an out-of-state Virginia income tax 1040 or whatever it is, and hope that the state of Virginia will refund that money, but they don't have to. And that was the drawback. There was, there's nothing that says they have to. They get to determine whether they want to or not. Now for us, that's a lot of money. It's thousands of dollars in taxes. So we're going to go register in Texas and re-domicile there. We had already planned on retiring in Texas anyway. The reason I didn't want to was I thought that we would have to repay the sales tax on the fifth wheel and the truck. And in Texas, if the vehicles have never been registered in Texas and they're registered in another state, you just pay a flat 90 fee. The vehicle register or the vehicle inspection, they waive that if the vehicle's less than 2 years old. And the driver's test, supposedly there's a written and driving test. If you're over the age of 18 and you surrender your other state driver's license to the Texas DMV, they waive both of those fees. So basically the only thing you have to do is take an eye exam, which is the same as it is in South Dakota. All right, so in closing this up, again, this only affects you if you're a remote worker working for a company that is not registered in South Dakota. I would say that you're probably first on the list if you have a private mailbox address through one of the forwarding services, because it seems like they grabbed that list first and sent everybody or are in the process of sending a letter. How they're going to find the other people, I don't know. If you work for a company that already has an unemployment account set up and was, quote, grandfathered in, they may never find you. But if you're just moving in there, you're probably going to want to rethink it. All right, so I'm going to link in the description to each one of these code sections, and then if I get any replies back from the governor's office or from the senator for Box Elder. I have not heard back from the representative. I contacted him as well. If I hear back from the state representative or the senator for Box Elder, which I think is District 28, I'll put that in the comments, or we'll just create another video. But all of y'all, you need to look into it, and have a great day. We'll give you an update we just crossed into Texas, so we'll give you an update when we get settled.